Yeah, you can.
Yep,
But before you do, just give us a little bit about yourself, and
I will. I okay. So just a little bit about me. I've been in real estate for almost 20 years. I started in just to fix and flip, and like Jerry mentioned, we kind of went into or realized that that wasn't the path to scale. My background's in technology, and I was super interested in how I can leverage my strengths, which is technology and process automation, uh, business process automation, to kind of get going in the multifamily space. Fast forward a few years later, I've done a little bit of everything. Started with, like I said, fix and flip, did a little bit of wholesaling, and ended up in syndication. I would thank God and this great group of guys Jerry's talking about, but some great opportunities came around, and here we are, almost over 100 doors in, and partnered with some great people. Currently working on some larger acquisitions in the Southeast, Midwest, and some dev deals here in New Jersey. So that's a little bit about me.
awesome. Cool. So yeah, today's topic is going to be, just I think all of us are exposed to obviously technology and the buzzwords we're hearing about ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. It's just what everyone's talking about, but it's not just a fad, obviously, for those who are using, and I think there's some really amazing things that are going on, and looking forward to have this. So Miguel, you lead the discussion, but everybody else feel free to jump in and talk and let us know, how you're using it, or, what kind of questions you have. So with that, do your thing, Miguel.
Thank you, thank you. So again, pleasure to be here. And I'll go through a high-level agenda, but today we're going to talk partnership with Real Legacy Investments and the Multifamily Connection, and we're going to bring you some information regarding using AI in technology and real estate. And we're going to cover why it's important. I am going to speak very fast because I'm a up norther, and I have a lot to get through. I am really excited about bringing this topic to you guys. Like I said, I work in technology, and it's just like great timing. Like Jerry said, everyone's talking ChatGPT, but it's just great timing to see technology kind of meet a very aged real estate industry. And I'm going to talk to you guys mostly about AI, and I'll kind of get into the agenda, but I'm going to talk to you guys mostly about AI and how it's kind of disrupting multifamily. We're going to talk about some AI companies and YouTube and internet permitting. I'm going to actually show you some pretty cool examples, actually some YouTube videos of stuff that's being done out there with AI. I'll wrap up by just talking about a list of AI tools I use and some property tech tools. Um, I don't know how long this goes, Jerry, but if we have time, I could even maybe go into using ChatGPT or ClickUp, which are two of the tools I'll talk about when we talk prop tech. And I'll tell you guys or explain more about prop tech for those of you that don't know what it is. And yeah, then we'll open it up for any questions. So a little bit about me and about Real Legacy, the company I own. Real Legacy is an investment company. We work on generational wealth through real estate. A little unique because we're community focused. In particular, our community. We like to work with like-minded investors. And at the bottom of the day, we are all about buying the right properties and looking at the best deals with partnering with the best people like Jerry here is talking about, and people like Jerry, and maximizing profits. And I'll give you my info at the end here, and if anyone's interested, we can talk a little bit more. So today, why is technology disrupting the multifamily market? Um, so we're going to start off by just kind of talking about why technology is affecting real estate so much. And it is a lot of the buzz about the ChatGPT and how AI is kind of changing the world. I mean, not just real estate, but I predict 10 years from now, the world to look completely different than what it looks like today. And that's mostly because we're having a market disruption, just like we did when the internet came out, just like we did when these handheld devices came out. But it's just going to change how we do business, how we interact in our day-to-day lives. So, like I kind of stated, real estate is a really old industry. It's been very, very slow to adapt to technology. And part of that is it's a relationship-based industry, right? So a lot of it has done really well. And because it's relationship-based, not a lot of need for technology. There's still a good old feeling of meeting someone, connecting with them, which I personally love, and just kind of getting a good vibe from them. So because real estate has done so well and it's so relationship based, it's kind of been the uh, thought or the ideology that it's not broke, don't fix it. But as we know, the world is changing and AI is coming to change the world as we know it. And it's not only going to change our lives, it's actually going to change real estate forever. So how is it disrupting current multifamily? Real estate's kind of transforming how we interact with day-to-day stuff, which we're going to talk about. Tools are streamlining our processes, kind of enhancing customer experiences, giving you valuable insight to data we have, but it's too big and too long for us to analyze. And it's kind of reshaping the way real estate looks today. So to start off, we need to start by talking about what is AI? And I know we all kind of know what it is, but let's talk a little bit more about what it really is and some of the key areas. So AI is a lot, but we're going to talk about the areas that make up AI. So I'm going to cover today these 5 areas in particular, and they kind of make up the AI generic change that's happening. But we'll talk about literally what artificial intelligence is. We'll talk about neuralistic language programming. We'll talk about RPA, uh, robotic process automation. We'll talk about computer vision, and we'll talk about machine learning. So what is AI? Back to that question again. What is AI? Right? So AI stands for artificial intelligence, which we all know, but at in non-tech terms, which you're going to hear me say that for the next few slides, but in non-tech terms, AI pretty much is just teaching computers how to do human-like things. Today, we're going to cover how AI is learning how to see, hear, and understand, just like a human does. It's going to talk about how AI is learning from our experiences, right? So that's what's interesting about AI is it learns on itself, and it's changing a lot of industries already. It's been around for some time, but in healthcare, finance, and transportation, it's been used for some time, but it's now kind of being used all over the place. And it's constantly changing the world around us. But I'm going to throw that out there. There is some limitations to what it has to do and how easy it is to use currently. So the first area we're going to cover is machine learning. And when we talk about machine learning, we're talking about automated valuation models. And machine learning is a subset of AI that focuses on algorithms, statistical models, and kind of teaches computers how to improve performance and in particular specific tasks. So in non-techie terms, machine learning identifies patterns and makes predictions without having to be programmed, right? So it learns buy it from data, and the more you feed it, the more it learns. So at a high level, that is what machine learning does. It is going to be used in real estate for things like estimating property values. It's going to be used for risk assessment and fraud detection. It is going to be used for property management and property maintenance. It is going to be used for market insight and market demand or market demands. And I think the important thing is it grows off itself. So I'm going to just talk a little bit more about each of these areas and how it's going to be used there. So for estimating property values, it's going to be able to predict data-driven insight. So it's going to have the capacity to kind of learn or tell you what property values are by a couple clicks of a button. No more having to get comps from brokers or figure out how market trends are going from a few clicks of a button. Machine learning will automatically be learning in the background every day to be able to give you insight to how you look and appraise property value. For risk assessment, it's going to be able to identify patterns and anomalies in real estate. It'll be able to tell transactions and any transaction frauds. So things like if the owner kind of leased up all the apartments, in the last year to try to get a higher evaluation because vacancy was low, right? But it'll be able to detect things like that in the future. In property management, right? It'll be able to do things like automate routines like rent collection, lease renewals, right? Kind of maintenance of a building. It'll be able to learn from a building and be able to reduce and automate some of those tenant conversations. And it'll be able to optimize your issues, reduce any downtime for tenants or any apartments you own or leases you own, and probably be able to kind of optimize your resources. And then, we talked a little bit about market insight, but it'll definitely be able to consume large amount of data where we can make or use it economic data to provide more insight to any decisions and downsize any risk. And it'll help us gain a deeper insight or understanding of market trends, demographics, and patterns, and really help you make more informed decisions. So at a high level, machines are going to be able to learn from all the data we give it and identify patterns and really change how we review this data. Water here. So the next area we're going to cover is RPA. So RPA involves using software of robots to automate any repetitive task in business. In non-techie terms, RPA mimics human actions with software, and it helps them execute them without any human intervention. So it can repeat any task or do anything you need, mimicking human interaction. It's going to create operational efficiencies by doing things like automating data entry, extracting data, filling out forms. It's going to kind of reduce time-consuming tasks, help reduce errors in repeatable tasks. And one of the important things is it's going to be able to do this 24/7, right? Machines don't get tired, they run all the time. So it'll be able to do those 24/7. RPA also is really not intrusive, meaning that when you implement RPA, because it replicates a human, while most of the time when you implement a lot of technology or software, it requires humans having to learn, but RPA just acts like another pair of hands working on the keyboard, right? Where there's not a lot of disruption to your day-to-day business process. And just a note or distinction from normal AI, while AI is all about replicating human intelligence, RPA is about task automation and doing or interacting with a lot of repeatable tasks. The next item to cover is computer vision. So computer vision involves extracting information from digital images, videos, and machines, and kind of being able to interpret that information coming back. So in non-techie terms, computer vision is able to take tasks or actually view items and detect them and segment them or segment images or videos just like a human eye can, right? It's actually a replication of a human eye where it's able to read and understand information. It can identify objects, people in text or video. It can categorize those items, right? It can say, this is a couch, that's a laptop, this is 5 people in a room. So just like an eye, it's able to take that input in and analyze it. And some good use cases for where computer vision is being used now. We all know about Tesla and the self-driving cars, but it's a good example of that computer vision or that technology, that AI being used. I work in the medical field, and I see it all the time, kind of diagnose, treatment, and planning. And one of the real big market disruptors for computer vision is actually quality control. So a lot of factories uh, or that the warehouse industry is actually using it to act like a human and do quality control, looking for defects in any manufacturing. So the next item, and I think I apologize, I might have called it neuralistic, sorry, natural language processing. So NLP, and NLP is an area that kind of focuses on interaction of computers with human language. So a lot of you with the ChatGPT, like Jerry was talking about, are kind of using NLP now, but we use it on a regular basis. Somebody had a question? We use it on a regular basis in things like Siri, but in non-techie terms, NLP involves understanding human language in a way where computers can comprehend, analyze it, and respond to it. It's the AI where computers can now understand what we're saying to them via text, writing, or just communication or talking. It's able to take text and extract information from it. It's able to summarize text. It's able to create content and generate content and create personalized recommendation. It enables computers to take that language and interact like it's a human. I'm pretty sure you can't, it's been harder and harder to get people on the phone to answer any questions. Most of the time, right, they have that forward-facing machine that kind of asks you, what do you like to do today? And it's kind of learning how to answer your questions, or we're interacting with the famous chat bot that's answering your questions and you're putting everything in there. And while it is pretty frustrating, those technologies are getting better and better. And a really cool thing that is kind of coming forward now is that it has the ability to detect emotion and express emotion. So it actually can take a text and realize that someone's angry by the way they wrote it. It's helping business understand customers' opinions, helping people do things like write social media trends and increase their brand, because it really understands and can understand kind of how people interact with language. So I told you all about what AI is and kind of some of the main areas, but why does it matter, right? Like, why are we all here learning about AI? Well, by the numbers, I'm going to tell you why. Why? Because 60%, 56%, almost 60%, 5 out of 10 companies say that they have a lower ability to kind of do any tech innovation currently today. 48% of those companies are saying that they have some type of pain point in the tech or real estate industry that can be fixed by some type of property technology. So most of them say that they don't have the ability to innovate, right? Over 50%, almost 60%. Almost 50% say that it can solve most of their problems. And 73% say that it's a major area of opportunity for their company's growth. So why is the industry changing so slow? And the big but, right? While everyone knows this, 80% of them admits that most of their decision making is not led by big or datas, right? So a lot of people are not making their decisions based on data, right? They admitted this. That's kind of scary. Even scarier, if they do have some type of data or they are into innovation and technology, only 5% of them actually have real experience in data analytics. So they've been really slow to react to the ever-changing technology that is going to affect their future. And Jerry, I know we kind of talked about it on our mastermind, but this comes down to just strategically aligning yourself better to the future. And why is that important, right? So I told you kind of what AI is, and we talked about everyone knows is important, but let's talk about what happens if you don't keep up with demand and adapt to technology changes. Do you guys remember MySpace, right? I mean, everyone does, right? It was the space that occupied the space before we had Facebook, right? But it was the industry leader, and it just did not have a focus on technology, even though it was a social media based company, right? They kind of shifted their attention from where the technology was heading. They didn't spend time on their algorithms, and now MySpace is Facebook space because they took over that industry. You guys probably also remember, I don't know if I'm dating myself here, but you guys probably remember a company called BlackBerry. So BlackBerry led the world. I mean, I know everyone I know that was in business wanted a BlackBerry, but BlackBerry was like the cool thing to have. I remember the president even had one, but it was like the handheld device, the first walking computer in your hands, and they just weren't focused on the touchscreens. They wanted to make everything kind of on a hard keyboard, and because of that, the company started to fail, and they kind of lost the race to staying above technology and lost a lot of the market share. Some other companies that are kind of affected by technology, and I grouped them together, but in no order way, but I'm sure you guys remember Netscape, right? The original search engine. Before there was Google ruling the world, we had a Netscape who was kind of what we used to do Google searches in the original search engine. And we have tech companies like Circuit City and Radio Shack, right? Who were like hardware-based companies, but were all brick and mortar and just did not adapt to the brick and mortar and the evolution of where the internet was headed. And because of that, kind of lost a lot of the industry share. So why is it so important? It's because if you are not a tech company, or you are not a tech savvy investor, a tech heavy person, or your company is in tech, you will lose the race. All companies are software companies. Um, the CEO of Microsoft said this many, many years ago, but this is true for all industries. This is why there's a chief technology officer or chief information officer sits at the C-suite in every company. Technology interrupts day-to-day business, and it is doing so in the real estate business. And as much as it is a relationship and people-based industry, technology will force all of it to change, in particular, how we interact with AI. So let me do a time check here. Jerry, how am I for time?
Doing
All right.
good. 10 after 8.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to apologize in advance as we go through some of these. And I do want to open it up for questions and maybe be able to demo. I'll ask Jerry if he's okay with time or how the crowd feels for some of the demos. But I do really want to go through this. And I queued some of these up on YouTube, but even being the tech guy, I couldn't figure out how to have my presentation open and go back and forth. So I apologize in advance for anything being queued slow. And I'm going to show you guys actually example, but virtual reality, right? That's probably one of the first or one of the areas or one of the tools that's really kind of changing everything. What is it doing? It's enabling people to be able to do virtual property tours. It's eliminating physical visits, right? People are actually putting on these goggles and using these hands and actually walking up to a property. And there's a picture of a guy kind of walking up, and you can actually walk up to the property like he was literally standing there. Um, they're advancing the way these modes look, and it's giving you like a real world experience without being there. And I'm going to cue this up. And again, I stated I apologize. Um, Jerry, can I share with sound or no?
Hmm.
Do I need to stop to share with sound?
You're the
And you know
tech.
what? Maybe I'll just talk through it. But I'll just show a couple examples just for the sake of time. So this guy's going to kind of walk up to a property, and I'll fast forward here as he puts on the chute. But with his VR goggles, he has the ability to walk up to this house and just look at the property, look at the lawn, as you can see there, right? He's getting a view. He's saying that it kind of looks like he's really there, and he's able to just walk into the property by walking towards one of these items, right? So just an example of what happens when he walks inside. When he walks inside, right, he kind of opens the door, right? And then he's able to see the property like he's really there, right? And he can't really walk through it, but he can walk to the next hotspot and get a view of exactly what it feels like. I mean, you could imagine how game changing this is going to be for new tenants trying to really get a feel of what your property looks like, or being able to actually evaluate a property before you buy it, doing your due diligence and checking out a property to see how it really looks. And right now we're talking just virtual reality and feeling it, but these technologies are all coming together. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But that was the first one I wanted to show you, which I thought was pretty cool. Let's go to the second one, which is smart home technology. So we're all using this right now, and I talked a little bit about well, I don't think I did, but the Internet of Things, right? But everything in your house is being connected to the internet, right? You can wake up in the morning and your phone detects you woke up and start your coffee downstairs, and your light comes on, and you can tell Siri to play your music, and you can warm the oven up before you get there. But there's some pretty cool things and innovations that are happening with even how companies are using technology to save a lot of money. Things like water detection, things like light savings, things like understanding where people congregate. And I'm going to show you, again, we'll queue up the second video here. And this is just an example of the video. And they're talking about smart building management here. And it's just talking about being able to understand where the building and the occupants are, right? And this little Hana point technology is one of the new sensors. It's your new Siri, pretty much, to be able to give you real-time information about where people are in the building. It lets you maximize your building's efficiency. It processes all the information from all the sensors and sends you out a bunch of information so that you can analyze like people's positions, paths, and do things like security. So pretty cool stuff, or pretty cool item there. The next one we're going to talk about is chatbot and virtual assistants. So when we think virtual or chatbots, right? I know we kind of talked about it a little, but they're usually used to handle customers' inquiries, things like schedule appointments, right? All can be done on a chatbot now. But there's some even cooler things going on where you can actually start using, or they have these bots that actually act like a virtual assistant, right? It just kind of listens, it's learning from you all day. And because it's with you all day, it can kind of respond. It's almost like having a secretary in your pocket, right? But because it's with you all day, it understands that I had this conversation to Jerry, and I did the Carolina meetup. And at the end, I can tell the bot something like, hey, send Jerry an email telling him, thank you for the opportunity, right? And the virtual assistant, the bot is able to, through language interpretation, say, sure, here's a message or a draft of the message I'm going to send to Jerry, and it just sends it off. Just imagine the ability or the possibilities of kind of having a virtual assistant in your pocket. And we kind of do right now, but the possibilities in the future. And I'm just going to show here, and not going to play too much on this one. We'll let it kind of queue up here. And again, as I apologized, didn't know a way to go back and forth, but it just kind of talks about the different areas and how hard it is, or how much customer service is needed to actually run a business, right? We're all kind of interrupted by the number one priority for any company, which is its customers. But the ability to kind of have that interaction with your customer, satisfy their needs, and automate, like we talked about robotic process automation, but automate a lot of the things they need through this artificial intelligence. And like I said, I'm not going to play too much on this one, but they just kind of talk about how building manage, technicians, coordinating all the items, and people don't really have real-time data, and they can't really do this. And there's a company like FacilityBot can go out there, has the ability to kind of interact through that language programming and kind of aligning all the technologies together, like we said. So let's go back. And the next one we want to talk about is imaging and video analysis, computer vision, right? And we talked about computer vision, right? It's the ability to kind of be able to view imaging and react to that data, but it does some cool things like being able to see how many people you have in a room, the square footage of a room. So being able to figure out if a property or something needs to be improved. And here's some cool stuff of kind of how it looks, where it's able to read and make all these split-minute decisions, just like it's a human, right? It can see how many people, it can see moving cars, it can identify all them and tag them, and then put all that information back and allow you to analyze it, or analyze it itself. Here's a cool representation of how it knows how many people are at the store. So you guys want to wonder why there's not a bunch of people walking around the store looking for fraud and fraud prevention? The computer screens usually literally come up and tell you how many people are there, the total foot count of the people in the store. It can tell you the age by recognizing their faces, which I think is a little offensive, but it can tell you the age. You better say I'm younger than I'm older here, but it tells you what the gender mixture rate is, and what the average time the person spent, and if they're satisfied or not. I'm gonna show this video, which I thought was pretty cool, but it kind of showed Tango Eye, which, and I'll just fast forward here, has the ability to kind of really look at data and analyze where people are, how long they've been in the store. You know, It can tell you if people are happy or not, right? It can monitor if work was done, which I think was really cool. They flew by that part, right? But it can monitor, did somebody come and actually clean your stairway? Did the landscaper come do his job? What does it look like, right? All from a video. It can tell you how long it took, right? Did that plumber really sit there for 10 hours and do that job, right? But it can kind of read all that and act just like a human and allow you to identify, the cost and what really happened. Did you really need to replace the entire gas line, right? Or completely remove or gut the floor to get to a job, right? It'll give you those type of abilities because it has all the analytics, and it's kind of like you're there in person. So the next one, property management. So property management, or for property management, it's going to have the ability to automate things like rent collections, um, maintenance requests, screen tenants, um, and going to be great for people and landlords to manage property. So I know a lot of us are in multifamily, so just some great property management solutions as they kind of come aboard here. And I'll play a little bit of this video where the people actually come in and what happens is they're greeted by a robot. They come in and they're greeted by a robot, which is a little impersonal, you can say, right? But people are doing self-guided tours right now. The ability for a human to be on the other side of that and actually interact with them and guide them through a property, but not have to be there, right? They can do this from their home. Just imagine how valuable that is for who you're hiring. They can actually walk through the property and answer any questions. And really, like these people are literally interacting like I am with you, with the people and reviewing everything, showing them the features of the home, and kind of just interacting with them on a regular basis. Some pretty cool, amazing stuff for property managers. The ability to manage a property without being there and kind of have those eyes. It's showing them important information about the area, with local parks, telling them about demographics, right? So it's kind of like having that iPad in front of you and showing you all that data. Uh, Something I thought was pretty cool is the lady asked right there, do they want to fill out the application? And on the spot, on the touchscreen, they filled out the application and applied, and now they're able to get this property. So that was pretty cool. And the last two, I don't have videos for, but I kind of want to talk about. For me, this is the biggest and the area that I get all kind of geeked out about when we talk about AI, and that is because a lot of the cool AI tools, a lot of regular people don't use or chat with. I think one person on this call said they work in IT security. I'm pretty sure they're all geeked out about what the AI can do. But you can really, like, the real advantage of AI is things like uh, these tools can write code for you. And I have probably like 50 developers on my team, right, at my job. But these tools can write code for you and can analyze tons and tons of data, right? It can take all the information, all the market information and the hours and hours of research it takes to figure out how you make intelligent analytic decisions and kind of predict market trends and kind of assist you in making better choices. I mean, we see some of this happening now with like Zillow or other companies where you can actually buy some of this data, right? So it's available now, but you have to spend money. But with these new artificial intelligence, it is becoming cheaper and cheaper. And, I think at one point it's actually going to be free. You're actually going to have the ability to be able to capture that data or tell the ChatGPT robot to go somewhere and fetch that data from a trusted source and analyze it all for you, right? And tell you, I can buy this property today because I understand the market, even though I never looked there because it's been downloading data from that market for the last 48 hours, right? and it never stops. It's constantly running, and it's giving you everything you need at a touch point. So it's going to be able to really kind of a game changer in terms of how we interact with the property, how we look at it, and how we make informed decisions. Um, it's going to change things like the search platforms. We're going to be able to really home in on what exactly we're looking for, whether that's the tenants or us as buyers, right? Really kind of home in on this is the specific thing I need. I can't tell you how many hours I spent on looking at or underwriting properties that really didn't meet my criteria, or once I dug deeper or went through the layers of analyzing all the data, I realized that that wasn't the property. But it's going to be able to do that for me on a regular basis, right? Without me having to go in there and search, right? I'll be able to type this in and it'll be able to run the analysis for me and come back and give me my analysis to match the OM that the broker's giving me and say, yeah, look, that's a good property. This is where the trends are going, and this is what the market will look like. And based on those decision points, this is the decision I would make. Um, right? And you can make it with me or not. Um, it's going to be able to evaluate, like we said, market trends, understand customers, right? Understand where people are headed, things like where are the best schools at and why this property is better than that property, but really just get or analyze all the sub-market information that takes a long time or you really need to go to get a feel for. And we talked about this, right? But it's definitely going to be able to detect fraud, and kind of help buyers and sellers and lenders be protected from any fraud or any funny business going on with any changes that happen, because it can detect all that stuff online, and it kind of knows that data. So, Gary, how am I on time?
We are at 8:30, so we'll just do.
How do we usually go to?
Let's do another 10 minutes, and then we can open it up.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. I don't even have 10 minutes, but I just wanted to make
Oh,
sure.
perfect.
Thank you. All right. So I am going to give you some software recommendations. And I'm going to start by just kind of talking about a list of um, I don't know if a lot of people know what tech is, but prop tech is short for property technology, and it's not new, but it is a fast growing industry. There's fintech, there's health tech, right? And property tech is kind of in the middle of all of it. They all are kind of interconnected, but it's the use of information technology, digital information, kind of help companies and individuals buy, sell, and manage real estate. So some tools that I use in multifamily right now, in no specific order, but I kind of like my list of must-haves, right? If you guys are not using Zapier to connect your apps from one to another, you are really losing time and effort in your day-to-day, right? So Zapier is a tool that allows, with a couple clicks of a button, for information to flow from one software tool to another. So have your CRM meet your email, have your email meet your Facebook post, have your Facebook post automatically send something to your Instagram, and kind of connect all of those together, right? A lot of times we have to open up 4 or 5 different things. Zapier is a tool that allows you to kind of connect all those apps. We all know about ChatGPT. A lot of people use it for marketing content, but it is a great tool to provide marketing. I use it to create content. I actually used it to write a post for this meetup I was attending to, right? And because I've been using it so much, it automatically knew that I was doing this meetup. It knew, and it had information on previous type of post I made, and it was able to kind of include my website information, my site information, my scheduling information, right? I put in there and I told it to create a post, and it added all that in there. It knew all my information, right? I didn't have to do all that extra stuff. I added emojis once or twice to it, and automatically started throwing my favorite emojis into it. Asana and ClickUp. So I am part of my other hat that I wear at my 9 to 5 is I work in business transformation, which is just a fancy way to say that we help failing parts of the business change by doing process improvement and innovation. I use Asana as an organizational tool. We've adapted it to do a bunch of stuff, but it's really critical in terms of just being able to track your day-to-day progress, um, keep score, which is something they preach about in business transformation a lot, being able to track your task, allocate the right proper resources, and then being able to capture all that data, because we do a lot of that day to day. You can handle it with a lot of tools, but just the ability to see that data. And if we have time, maybe I'll be able to show a little bit of that at the end here. I put Microsoft Power Apps. So this is like a new up and coming thing if no one knows about it, but Power Apps allow you to create flows, right? So it's like a software builder for you. Um, and Microsoft's starting to include this more and more. Right now it's a paid service, but you can pretty much create like an intake form where it actually walks somebody through a flow and automates a lot of that for you. So it's an automation tool, and it's a free Microsoft tool. You need to check it out. I put high level. So this is like a sales, it's an everything tool. So it's similar to Power Apps, another word, or Salesforce, but it's just a tool that allows you to develop any need you have or any flow you have, and you can pull a bunch of different stuff together and combine it to kind of make your own type of like application. I threw InvestNext and Syndication Pro because they're tools that we use in the industry a lot, but they really help in terms of closing and um, automating a lot of what you need to actually legally deregister your syndication, and be able to provide that interface for your investors where it's the front-facing tool to let them know how much they invested, do their wires, and send the information kind of back and forth. Um, and then CRM, I put in HubSpot and ActiveCampaign. Both of them are great CRM tools with a lot of built-in ability to market. And again, we talked about data, right? Both of them have the ability to capture all that data, follow all your emails, figure out how many people are opening your actual email so that you can see if your marketing efforts are actually leading to sales and your conversion rates are high. And I'll go into my list of AI tools, and I'll go through this one quicker. So just a couple tools that are out there. And I haven't used all of these. I just used some of them, but some of them are pretty cool, and I've played with them a little. But Opus Pro allows you to chop up videos. This is the new one I've been playing with. This is something I pay actual VA for, because I hate to do it, but this tool, it'll actually take your video and chop it up for you and provide captions and add all those items for you. Jasper is a similar tool to ChatGPT. Does a lot of the similar functionality. This was a cool one that I just kind of found, and I installed it today. I was trying to get it going before this call, but I didn't have time. But it's an audio podcast tool that enhances your talking. It will kind of take my loud projected voice, calm it down, narrow tone it, make it deeper, right? So it's pretty cool stuff, right? It can change your voice. Won't make you sound nervous, or if you talk too slow, it can speed it up. But it has a lot of these abilities to change your speech. You combine that with like an NVIDIA, where right now you see my eyes looking at you, but I'm reading the screen. I'm trying to get a gauge of who's on the call. But this NVIDIA, it automatically follows your eyes, or if you want it, it'll keep your eyes looking at the camera. So you'll look down and it won't look down. It'll show like you're fully engaged, make you look like a seasoned professional with all the stuff you have there. There's Runway, which is a video editing tool. It allows you to enter your content into the information, and it automatically spits out a video and or information about a video. We have Mixo, which was, I've seen it for the first time, or was brought to my attention by one of my peers, and it automatically built a website for you. So that was pretty cool. You answer a couple questions and it'll go out there and build a website within minutes for you. So this is another cool one that I've been playing with just because I need to change my website. Um, and there's Microsoft Copilot, and similar to what we talked about with Power Tools, but it's just the way Microsoft is integrating with everything. And Microsoft's a great example of a company that stays 1 foot ahead of ever-changing technology, but it's piloting a way to kind of uh, combine its suite of tools, Word, Excel, and all that with AI. And Jerry, depending on time here, I'm actually going to skip the live demos here of a ClickUp or ChatGPT. If Jerry wants me to do them, I can at the end. I can go like into 5 minutes of each. But just in terms to summarize, so AI is still very young. When I was young, information was the limitation, right? If you didn't have the information, you were kind of limited. People with access to information kind of powered the way and had the advantage in life. As a teenager, that kind of changed to people that had access to technology, right? The internet, the web, those were things that were hard to do. I remember going to the library where the information was to actually use the computer, right? Because I couldn't type my papers. I was still handwriting. So the advantage moved to people that had access to technology. Today, it is going to move to youth that actually are really empowered by this artificial intelligence. And it is very young. If we look at how long it's been around, it is moving from toddler to teenager in terms of its existence. And we know what happens when those kids hit the adolescence and they start growing. They start growing really fast. And we're exactly at that point in where AI is. It is kind of growing into a young adult at a very quick rate. So to kind of wrap up, the robots are coming. And we originally thought, or I can tell you that Hollywood got it completely wrong. They kept saying the robots were going to replace manufacturing, or they were going to replace day-to-day blue-collar works, right? But I still don't have a robot plumber, and I still don't have a flying car. But what I do have is a robot that can act as a virtual assistant, a robot that can analyze a bunch of data. So who knew that the robots were coming, but for a different part of industry and jobs? And I'll just conclude by saying that AI is kind of revolutioning the real estate industry. It's making it more efficient, changing customers' experience, and giving you valuable insight. By leveraging these tools, you'll kind of be ahead of the game and ahead of the competition, and it'll evolve into you buying and selling more properties. You need to embrace real estate and look at the ever-changing era, and big data is going to change the way we look at micro type of their economics in the future. Conclusion, AI is changing real estate as we know it and enabling it for better predictions, better improved customer service, and people that leverage this AI will gain valuable insight to making informed and lower risk decisions. I will open it up for questions, but before I end, I do want to thank Jerry for allowing me to get all geeked out and talk to you about technology and real estate. Thank you, Jerry, for having me at the Carolina Multifamily Connection. It was an honor being here.